Good morning, everyone. How's it going for you today? It's Tuesday, and we're going to get jump right back into our study in the book of First John. However, first, can I invite you to two things? Tomorrow is Wednesday, and our women are having their monthly luncheon. It's Clubhouse One, great speaker, great catered lunch. I hope you'll go, and they'd love to have you. Come if you haven't been before. I guarantee you'll have a good time. You can respond just by calling our church office, letting them know, or even emailing us at the email for inspiration for today. Men, we have a monthly breakfast on Thursday, and I have the honor of getting to be the speaker this time. And I'm speaking on what it's going to be like to live in heaven. What do you do day to day? What do you eat? Or do you eat? And so forth. I think I find it really interesting, the material. I'll try to not make it boring. I don't think it will be. It can't be. We want to know what it's like to live in heaven. So, men, come on out. It's 9 o'clock at the 19 restaurant meeting rooms there. Eggs Benedict. And hey, basically, the way we do it, it's by donation only. And so there's actually no charge. If you don't want to pay, then don't. But the men usually help cover our costs very, very well. So anyway, that's at 9 o'clock Thursday morning. Thursday morning. So come on out if you can. Now, we're going to jump back in. We're at chapter 4, the beginning of chapter 4. And I think it's very apropos to today. The way they were having an issue with false teachers in the church, basically in the world too, around them. And John tells them how to figure out whether the person is telling the truth about God or not. Is it somebody that you should listen to? And of course, we live in such a day where there is a plethora of people that want to be our teachers. They're on the radio, they're on the television, and they're definitely on the internet. And how do you know which ones are good, which ones are true? There's so many, even church services broadcast on the internet. Most every church has a YouTube channel these days, including Saddleback, where you can watch our services. So, how do you know which ones are reliable? Which ones are telling the truth? John, 1 John chapter 4, verse 1 says, "Dear friends, do not believe everyone who claims to speak by the Spirit. You must test them to see if the Spirit that they have comes from God. For there are many false prophets in the world." Now, let me stop right there because a lot of people get confused with the words prophets or even prophecy. What does the word prophet mean, actually? The literal meaning of it in Greek is one who tells the truth, a truth teller. It's not, so often we think of a prophet, one who foretells the future. Well, they might try to foretell the future. And the way that, how do you know if somebody is telling the truth if they're talking about the future? Well, it would be if the event comes true or not, isn't it? And in the Old Testament, if someone claimed to be a prophet and didn't tell the truth about the future, then you would know they were not from God. And do you remember what the penalty for that was? Death, being put to death. It was that important that no one lie about being a prophet of God, a truth teller of God. about the future. But a person can be a prophet just by declaring God's truth. That's the key thing, truth. Now, how does that relate to what we read here? How did John tell the people to know if the people they were hearing from were telling the truth? Verse 2, in fact, he says it. This is how we know if they have the Spirit of God. If a person claiming to be a prophet acknowledges that Jesus Christ came in a real body, that person has the Spirit of God. Now, there was a heresy that had started even in the first century that said, in fact, that Jesus was God, but he was not a human being. That all we were seeing was a spirit, whatever that was. But that was fairly popular. And you see, what is Orthodox Christianity said about Jesus from the very first? He's 100% human and 100% God. He was both. He was God. We will call him incarnate, God in the flesh. And anyone who would deny either one was a false prophet, not one to be listened to. Now, today, more people believe and can teach even that Jesus was a human, but that he was just a good teacher. They deny his godship. In that early day where the people had seen the miracles that he did, and they saw that he rose from the dead, they had no problem believing he was God. But there were those who were saying he was not human. So that's why, for that time period, he says that Jesus Christ came in a real body. That person, anyone who says that Jesus came in a real body, that person has the Spirit of God. But if someone claims to be a prophet and does not acknowledge the truth about Jesus, that person is not from God. That person's not from God. That part is still true. Now, it might be on the other side of the issue that they're claiming that he's human but not God. In those days, a bigger issue was that he was God but not human. It's both. It's both. And those are the people you want to listen to. Such a person has the spirit of Antichrist, which you heard is coming into the world and indeed is already here. Not that the Antichrist of Revelation is here, but he says what? The spirit of the Antichrist. The spirit, the teachings, the same philosophy. Antichrist means he's against the Christ, against the Messiah, against Jesus Christ. That's the spirit of the Antichrist. And we're not to listen to people like that. And they're there. They're there. They're all over. You need somebody who upholds the Bible. And so any good pastor will say, test everything I say by what the Bible says. Don't listen to me. Listen to the Bible. Listen to your God. Wow. I get worked up over this. Well, we're going to have a great time tomorrow. A verse you really need will come into play. See you tomorrow.